This is already, it's already 2 o'clock. Okay, we can start. So I'd like to welcome everybody to this pep talk. Please mute yourself, but always show your video picture. Sign in your name, Facebook account, or email address in the chat box. Please include names of companions attending. Use the chat box to ask questions and make comments while the pep talk is on. There'll be group pictures at the start and end of the pep talk, so please show your face in the video. As a reminder, please take online learning comb evaluation test exercise or OLETE for mastery of learning and have a perfect score to get a certificate like the one shown below. I have placed the link in the chat box as well as in our Facebook page as well as in the video, in the Viber group. Okay. So let's now have a group picture taking before we start the prep talk proper in 2 minutes. Please show your face. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Just save it. Let's have a page 2. Please show your face. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let me just save it for a while. Okay. Okay. I have a patient empowerment program in which I like to empower the lay people or patients to take control in the management of their health. What I have in mind in my pep talk, which may run for 3 years, is to empower at least 30 persons with my family members and my patients as a priority. This is my key performance indicator. I hope you will be in my group of 30. I launched this pep talk on May 15, 2021 with a module on COVID-19. The second module was on patient empowerment. Third module, patient management process. The fourth module was on rights in patient empowerment. Today, we start with the fifth module, staying healthy and contented. There will be 5 parts. 1, introduction and intentional living plan. Part 2, healthy lifestyle plan. Part 3, screening and periodic health check. Part 4, early diagnosis and early treatment. And part 5, first aid and basic medical care. Okay. So all these topics will contribute to the theme of staying healthy and contented. Today, I'll be talking on staying healthy, contented, an introduction and intentional living plan. The empowerment objective is for the lay people to have an understanding of the use of intentional living plan as a foremost strategy in staying healthy and contented. Every person has a limited lifespan on Earth. Every person does not live forever on Earth. The oldest person to have ever lived on this earth is Jean Calment, a French woman who died at the age of 122 years and 164 days. In a recent study, it is said that human lifespan may have an absolute limit of 150 years. No more than 150 years. Somewhere between the ages of 120 and 150, the human body undergoes a complete loss of resilience, making that the absolute limit of the human lifespan, with no medicines or therapies can overcome. So with the limited lifespan as a reality check, what does one do with one's life on Earth? The best answer, without putting it some religious input, okay, is to stay alive and not be crippled as long as possible, and to be contented as much as possible. We don't know when death, disease, and accidents will occur. Nobody can predict with 100% certainty when those events will strike. It is at any time, any age, as early as at birth and after birth, at a younger and older age. Thus, we should always anticipate and be prepared for their onset before they cripple and kill us. We should try our best to stay alive and not be crippled before the eventuality strikes, so that there won't be any regret of doing nothing worthwhile or not enough while still able to do so. We should try our best to accomplish things we want to do on Earth while still able to, so that we will be contented as we leave the world. In the end, it will be a feeling of contentment that will serve as a parameter that we have lived a life to the fullest and we are ready to leave this world. In this patient empowerment module with the theme of staying healthy and contented, as part of the goal of gaining greater control affecting decisions and actions on one's health, we will be discussing the following: intentional living plan, healthy living plan, screening and periodic health check, early diagnosis and early treatment, and first aid and basic medical care. So one must have an overall and comprehensive direction and vision of what wants to do while on Earth, so as to be able to set the endpoints of contentment. Thus, the intentional living plan has to be formulated as early as possible. After the intentional living plan, which naturally includes a plan to stay alive and not crippled as long as possible, one must formulate strategies on these objectives. Thus, healthy lifestyle plan has to be formulated. One of the main tactics in trying to stay alive and not crippled will be to be able to recognize disease early and to have it treated early so as to have a greater chance of success. Thus, screening and periodic health check and early diagnosis and treatment have to be discussed and learned. The other main tactic in trying to stay alive and not crippled will be to be able to develop skills in managing common medical emergencies or first aid. Thus, first aid and basic medical care have to be learned. So what I've just shown you is how I designed this particular module into these 5 topics. So we therefore start with intentional living plan. Intentional living is essentially living with intention. After this basic definition, living with intention, there are a lot of different concepts and strategies by different authors on how to go about living with intention. Some would input religious intention or living with intention in the context of religion. Some would promote living with intention in the context of a mere transformation to have a more clear-cut direction in daily life, but without a final destination and without a finish line, without a special emphasis on the health goal. Some would input happiness intention. Still others would input productivity intention. I have my own concept and strategy. A little background there before I give my concept and strategy. In 1994, when I was 45 years old, I formulated an intentional living plan targeting 70 years old. Why 70 years old? I thought of 70 years old as this is the average lifespan of Filipinos, 67 for males and 72 for females. Round off average is 70, to be used as a fighting target, and this is a number that is easy to remember to teach people. In 2017, I was happy to learn from the World Health Organization that the average lifespan of all people all over the world was 70. And to die before 70 is considered to die a premature death. What prompted me to make such an intentional living plan in 1994 was the experience that I had with dying patients. I am a physician, so I deal with a lot of dying patients also. I have seen a lot of dying patients not contented with their lives at the time of death, even those who are more than 70 years old, 80 and 90 years old. I told myself that to be able to live a contented life on earth, all persons should be reminded that there is a limit to life. They should prepare for the graduation day. They should have an intentional living plan targeting 70 years old. So since 1994, at age 45, I've been teaching people, especially my patients, on how to live life with an intentional living plan targeting 70 years old. Before I reached 70 years old last January 31, 2019, I could not go all out to teach people on this as I have not reached 70 years old. Now that I have reached 70 years old in January 31, 2019, and now 72 years old as of January 31, 2021, I can serve as a role model and go all out to teach people on how to live life with an intentional living plan targeting 70 years old. From my experience and from the writings of other authors, making an intentional living plan not only promotes contentment, but it also contributes to longevity. So my operational definition of intentional living plan is as follows. Intentional living plan is a plan you make targeting a certain number of years in which you write down things you intend or want to accomplish on your graduation day or the last day of your targeted year, which will make you feel you have lived your life to the fullest, you have lived a meaningful life, and you are contented and ready to die a happy death. The assumption and reality is that all of us will die one day. Put it in another way, intentional living is living with intention, living guided by the long-term visions and goals in life, then designing or planning, implementing, and continually evaluating a course of actions to reach your long-term visions and goals, the overall expected impact of which is contentment of the life you have lived. So in my intentional living plan, I prescribe the following focus strategies and tools: staying alive and not crippled, being productive, having a peace of mind, being contented, and enjoying life. As one can see from the operational definitions above, making an intentional living plan not only promotes contentment, but also contributes to longevity. In an intentional living plan, one makes a plan to live up to a certain number of years, being productive and contented. In so doing, particularly if one includes a healthy lifestyle in the plan to keep alive to the target graduation day, there is a high probability that one can reach the target and therefore live longer. Target 70 years if you don't have a serious medical condition. So these are my recommendations on how to estimate, how to set down the number of years to target for your intentional living plan. Okay, 70 is the average lifespan of all people in the world as well as in the Philippines. and 70 is the cut-off year for premature death declared by WHO. So target 70 years old initially if you don't have a serious medical condition. Target 5 years at a time after 70 years old. After you have reached 70 years old, and if you are now more than 70 years old, you can have a stretch target of more than 5 years as long as you can give a realistic justification. For example, a personal example, after I reached 70 years old in 2019, I renewed my intentional living plan and placed a target of 75, but with a stretch to 83 because I want to see and wait for my wife to reach 70 when I am 83. Target 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or 10 years as the case may be. If you have a medical condition that has a known actuarial lifespan, meaning there's a known average lifespan of the medical condition. If there is no published actuarial lifespan of a particular medical condition, you can consult your physician. Before I share with you the template of my intentional living plan, let me just say that I have been offering the ROJoson OSIL on intentional living. OSIL stands for Online Collaborative and Interactive Learning since October 2019. I have 20 graduates so far. 5 had near end-of-life intentional living plans, dying with acceptance and contentment. I will now show you the template of my intentional living plan. Okay. So part 1, honor and number of years to target for the intentional living plan. Okay. Honor intentional living plan. Name, example, Reynaldo O. Joson. Current age, example, 70. From what year to what year? From what age to what age? Example, 70 to 75 with a stretch of 83. Number of years to target in the intentional living plan. Okay, in my case, example, 5 years with a stretch to 13 years. Okay, so with stretch targets, specify the reasons below. So here are my reasons. Okay, first reason is I want to be with and to support my wife in living her life to the fullest up to 70 years old. She's now 58 years old as of 2019 without a dreaded or a serious medical condition. She will be 70 in September 2031, that 12 years from now. Okay. I made my stretch longevity target of 13 years because my birthday is on January 31. That's 13 years or up to 2032. The second reason is for my children, which is secondary. Okay, I will strive to stay alive and not crippled up to 2032 to support them until they are most stable in their professional life. Part 2 of the template, people to include in the intentional living plan. So enumerate the names of other people like spouse, partner, children, significant others you want to include in your intentional living plan. Okay? The name of the spouse, the name of the children, significant others, and current age. So example, in my case, the name of my spouse is Jacqueline E. Joson, the age, Ray Benjamin Joson, my son, and my daughter, Therese Ik Joson, the age. So part 3 will be legacies. So answer the following questions as indicated. If I were to die at a certain age and a certain year, okay, what are the legacies that I want to leave behind for my family and for my community? Be as specific as possible and include a timeline or deadline. Okay. So my input here, the 43 legacies that I want to leave behind for my family and for my community are the ones that I recorded when I reached 70 years old on January 31, 2019. I will refine and strengthen some of these, and I will add some more. So for 70 onwards up to now, okay, so I formulated these 8 focus projects, which I will add on to the 43 legacies that I have done. Example will be how to live life in the context of health, tips for general surgeons to be, quality and safety risk management for hospital, medical curriculum enhancement, okay, clinical research, safety promotion, and disaster preparedness programs for all. Okay. And also for starting 2020, I've started on these legacies. Okay. ROJoson PEP Talk. Okay. Then ROJoson contribution to anti-COVID fight, and ROJoson telemedical consultations. Part 4, for the spouse and partner, okay, answer the following questions as indicated. If I were to die at a certain age or certain year, what will I do for my spouse? So be as specific as possible and include a timeline or deadline. Place an A if not possible. If you don't have any spouse, if you don't like to put your spouse in that intentional living plan. Okay. So my input here will assist and support her in her intentional living plan up to age 70. Okay. Will assist and support her in her house managership. Okay. From 2019 to 2024 up to 2032. For my son, will assist and support him in his intentional living plan, okay, up to age 70, and will assist and support him in his surgical residency training in the Philippine General Hospital. Okay, so this is for part 5. Earlier, part 4 was for the spouse. Part 5 now is for the children. Okay. For my daughter, okay, will assist and support her in her intentional living plan up to age 70. Okay, will assist and support her in her career growth and administrative education. Part 6 will be for the significant others. Okay, just put NA if not applicable. Okay, in my case, my input here will be for my immediate families, brothers and sisters and their families. Okay, will assist and support them in their intentional living plan. For my extended families, sisters, in-laws, and their families, will assist and support them in their intentional living plan up to age 70. For my classmates in Xavier School and UP College of Medicine and brothers in the Mu Sigma Phi fraternity, I will assist and support them in their intentional living plan up to at least 70. For my patients, will assist and support them in their intentional living plan as long as they have one. Okay, will provide them with education for health development, empowerment on health, and how to live life in the context of health. So part 7 of the template, this time it's for myself. Okay, so what will I do for myself? Okay, I have to be as specific as possible, include a timeline, include the following goals and as applicable: health, contentment, enjoyment, God or creator, financial, career, professional, social, and relationship goal, etc. Okay, but the most important requirement is that we include the following areas as outlined below or here: how to stay alive and not crippled, how to be productive, how to have a peace of mind, how to be contented, how to enjoy life, and how to prepare for a happy death, and others that might be pertinent, relevant to a particular person formulating the intentional living plan. So it consists of general goals and plans and specific plans. Okay, so for the general plans, my input will be staying alive and not crippled up to 2032, continuing to refine and strengthen further the legacies that I have left behind at age 70. For the specific plans on these 5 categories, I will discuss this later on because I like to finish first part 8 because this will be long. Okay. So part 8, which is the last part of the template, is preparing for a happy death. Okay, so what will I do to prepare for a happy death, contented and ready to leave this world? Be as specific as possible and include a timeline or deadline. Okay, so I've put an sample answers as a guide for those who want to adopt my intentional living plan. Then I affix the signature and then date when it was first accomplished. And every now and then I update this one. So I put also a date reviewed and updated. Okay. So for my input on this particular part 8, okay. So I I answer it this way. To accomplish completely my intentional living plan from age 70 to 75 with a stretch to 83. Be prepared to die anytime with the following conditioning and preparedness. Number 1, try my best to stay alive and productive up to the last moment on earth. Okay? So I have to condition and prepare myself to stay home because of the pandemic and also probably of my semi-retirement age, but still be productive, particularly doing blogging, which I'm doing now. Okay, so make peace with God every day. Stay in the grace of God every day. Make peace with everybody. Forgive and ask for forgiveness. Endorse my material possessions. Make clutter management of my stuff. Make an advance directive on how my family and guardian will manage me when I am near death and after I die. Ban or maximize bonding with my family or significant others. And lastly, enjoy myself to the maximum or the fullest. Okay. So this part of the template is also considered as the near end of life intentional living plan. Okay. So this is what I taught to people who are terminally ill, who are near the end of life stage. Okay. For those, I mentioned about 5 people whom I have taught how to make such an intentional living plan, and they were able to die happy and contented and with acceptance. I will now go to the details of my specific plans, which might be long. Okay, so how to stay alive and not crippled. So the first strategy here. So general strategies for this particular item will be, okay, I made a resolution with a definite action plan to stay alive up to age 75 to 83 years old. And then I implementation of the action plan with annual evaluation, yearly evaluation and review, at least, with continual improvement as I go along. So the definite action plans on how to control the preventable factors for disease and death in order to stay alive up to at least 75 to 83 years old, essentially will consist of the following. Okay. Avoid accidents, avoid stroke, as I have a genetic predisposition, not to commit suicide, control whatever diseases that I may have so as not to cause or promote death, avoid stress, and then live a healthy lifestyle. Okay. Avoid accidents. Be wary of the risk of accidents and all types of activities that I would undertake. Forgo those activities with high risk for accidents. Take the necessary precautions in avoiding accidents. Be vigilant against accidents. Avoid stroke as I have the genetic predisposition. My strategies include the following: control stress, diet, healthy diet, no frank poisons, eat in moderation, vary foods with more of vegetables, fruits, and fish, avoidance of processed foods. Exercise, daily walking for 45 minutes or 3 kilometers and stretching and flexing exercises for 15 minutes per day. Work in moderation, slow down with controlled pace, relaxation in terms of watching movies, travels, appreciation of nature, blogs, sports, socializing, etc. Medicine to control my hypertension and other metabolic diseases like hypercholesterolemia, diabetes that are considered risk factors for stroke. Not to commit suicide. I should avoid depression. I should keep myself busy with something to do every day. at least 16 to 17 hours a day, doing major, medium, and small stuff. I have learned in the past that the most important deterrent to committing suicide was my value. I consider committing suicide is a sin and a shame to do so. I would manage depression by writing down my problems and analyzing them to find solutions, meditating, walking, swimming, going away for a while, keeping myself busy with some stuffs, telling my depressed feelings to my wife, son, and daughter, who would then listen and provide upliftment support. Control whatever diseases that I may have so as not to cause or promote death. So I will control my hypertension, diabetes, and hypercholesterolemia with diet, exercise, normal weight, stress management, and medicine. Avoid stress. I have a stress management strategies program. Avoid stress to have a peace of mind, to have a peaceful and restful sleep every day as much as possible. Okay. Avoid stressful operations, big operations that will cause a lot of stress for me. Stressful patients, stressful lectures, stressful people, and stressful events. Be contented. Remind yourself you can only do so much. No more rat race. You have to slow down. You have to enjoy the remaining days and months of your earthly life. So when the stress unavoidably comes, okay, resolve as best as I can. I always carry this motto, it will come to pass. Live a healthy lifestyle. Okay? Have a clear direction in life. Formulate an intentional or purposeful living plan with an operational definition of endpoints of contentment and indicators of happiness and enjoyment. Then inclusive here will be an action plans for healthy living to reach a certain age target. So these are my regimen: daily healthy eating or diet, regular exercise, regular work, okay. Work regularly but modulate it, productive daily, enjoy work but control the stress related to it, regular relaxation, daily relaxation regimen, vary the relaxation activities, stress management, avoid stress to have a peace of mind and to have a peaceful and restful sleep, avoid stressful people, activities, work, be contented, manage stress when it comes. Minimalist approach in life, acquiring things that are only essential and needed to living a simple, comfortable life, keeping things to the minimum or essential. Avoidance of anything in excess in terms of doing, eating, and drinking. Everything in moderation. Avoidance of anything that will be harmful to the physical and mental health, like smoking, alcohols, drugs, chemical exposure, pollution, interaction with evil and unscrupulous people, etc. Now, we're done with staying alive and not be crippled, and then now we go to being productive. Okay. Accomplish at least 3 tasks per day as my criterion of contentment. Okay. At least 3 of these per day. Medical practice, medical education, hospital administration, public health education, family bonding, exercise and relaxation, and social networking. Having a peace of mind, strategic goals and plans, always be at peace with God, always be at peace with every other human being, always be at peace with authority. A proactive management for all the possible stresses. I try to identify all the common anxieties that I would encounter, challenges and problems. Then I come out with a preventive, mitigation, preparedness, response, recovery, and contingency plan. Then management of actual stress on hand as they come. I usually use my contingency plan. I think positively, don't worry too much. Then the motto is everything will come to pass. Okay, the next one is being contented. Okay. So in January 23, 2015, I made this statement or resolution. I have to determine the endpoints in all the programs and projects that I want to do in my life that will be considered as criteria for contentment enough. So after I have achieved the endpoints, I would retire completely and just cherish the memories of what I have done. So this was the resolution that I made in 2015. Then I also made the following resolutions. I try to define what is contentment. Okay, for me, it's peace and relaxation of mind, no rat race, no such saying that I have still too much to do, still too many responsibilities to shoulder, too many deadlines to meet, too many achievements to be achieved, too many money still to earn and to be saved and to save, and too many promotions to be earned, too many calls to be made, too many letters to be written, etc. Striving for more in anything have ceased for me. Now thinking that if I am contented, people might think that I have lost my ambition. Okay? And saying such thing as goodbye schedule, see you later, come back tomorrow. So I will follow the above guidelines on contentment. The last one, enjoying life. I have categorized myself, the enjoyment into the following. I've done it by myself. I've not seen this in the internet. Okay. Sensual pleasure, ego pleasure, accomplishment pleasure, and appreciation pleasure. So I will try to acquire these pleasures every now and then, at least one pleasure a day in a varied and balanced manner. Example of sensual pleasure is eating and enjoying good foods prepared by my wife and during blowouts with meal invitations from relatives and close friends. But I make sure that I eat this in moderation. Ego pleasure, example, delightful feedback to me from my patients, colleagues, and friends. Accomplishment pleasure, example, will be my accomplishment in life, programs and projects accomplished, and my legacies. And lastly, appreciation pleasure. I try to appreciate plants and bamboos and other things. So there you are, an introduction on staying healthy and contented and showing you the importance of starting on the right foot. That is formulating an intentional living plan. Formulating an intentional living plan is the foremost and the first strategy in staying healthy and contented. Let me repeat my definition of intentional living plan. It's a plan you make targeting a certain number of years in which you write down things you intend or want to accomplish on your graduation day, which will make you feel you have lived your life to the fullest, you have lived a meaningful life, you are contented and ready to die a happy death. Living with intention, living guided by your long-term vision and goals in life, then designing, implementing, and continually evaluating a course of actions to reach your long-term visions and goals, overall expected impact of which is contentment of the life you have lived. Intentional living also contributes to longevity. So I've shown you the templates of my intentional living plan, how I formulated it, how I implemented it successfully up to age 70. I'm now on my second phase. I have given some tips on my strategies and tactics, which you can adapt if you wish. So just remember the processes, formulate the intentional living plan, then implement it diligently and with perseverance, and then review and evaluation, preferably yearly. Okay. So maximize your knowledge, kaalaman, maximize your capability, kakayanan. Lastly, maximize your self-determination or kapangyarihan in formulating and implementing an intentional living plan in gaining greater control over decisions and actions of your health. This is essentially the goal of patient empowerment. Implementing it properly and diligently with perseverance will lead to contentment and longevity. So with that, I end my pep talk. Staying healthy and contented, introduction, and intentional living plan. I hope I have empowered you to have better understanding on the use of intentional living plan as the foremost strategy in staying healthy and contented. So before we go to the picture taking and question and answers, okay, reminder again, take the online learning evaluation test exercise for mastery of learning and have a perfect score to get a certificate. Okay, the link is in the chat box. So let's now have a group picture taking before we start the open forum. Your face. Okay, ready? One, 2, 3. Okay. 1 second. I just put it in my save it. Okay. Let's have a page 2. 1. Okay. Last call. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. So the floor is now open for questions, comments, reactions, anything. Okay. So you can put your questions, comments in the chat box, or you can raise your hand or unmute yourself right away and then throw the questions. Okay. How many have intentional living plan already in one form or another? How many? In one form or another. It doesn't have to be as formal as mine, as structured. Wala? How many have no intentional living plan? Balik na rin natin yung tanong. No, okay. How about the others? How many have no intentional living plan? Okay. I can see hands. Okay. 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 So do you think you should be doing an intentional living plan? Kahit na may konting direction lang to guide you. Okay. With intentional living plan, ang primary foremost strategy, that's the foremost strategy for staying alive. Because all of us want to stay alive, di ba? Okay, you have to start with that. No. Any questions? Are there questions on the chat box?
There is none.
Okay. Why don't you start it, Abet? Would you like to share your intentional living plan?
I forgot it already. I submitted it to you before.
What's your reactions on doing it? You don't have to give us the content.
At first, I'm scared. I'm not really prepared.
I mean, may echo.
Christy, your cell phone.
Again.
At first, I'm not prepared. I told you I'm scared to do it, but you insist me on doing it. But I was so happy when I've done it. because when I'm doing the intentional living plan, I just realize so many things in life that we really have to prepare, that we really have to think of the significant others. So I enjoy doing it. As far as I know, I felt I was fulfilled in doing my intentional living plan. And I also encourage other people to do it because when you have that intentional living,
Unmute. Unmute. Nawala. Unmute. 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 Beth, unmute. Nawala.
I'm sorry, did you,
Nawala.
as
Nawala.
I was saying, at first when doing it, I felt so scared. I don't know if I am ready to do that. When I did that, I was so happy and so relieved because in doing the intentional living plan, I realized so many things in doing it, that I really have to prepare everything for myself, for the significant others. And I also realized that being contented in your everyday life is the most and the most encouraging thing that one has to do. And being brave enough to accept that someday or any day you will pass away in this world, and that you have everything in papers, everything documented, and everything is being prepared for. So that's all. So I am encouraging everybody to do it also, because there will be a feeling of relief in your part, on your part, because you never know. As days pass by, we never know what will happen. And if you have that intentional living plan, you are ready to die, because you will write in that intentional living plan all your purpose, what you have done, and what are the other things that you should do when you reach that certain point in life.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Beth. No? Okay. Any other comment? Emily, okay, unmute yourself. Unmute. Yeah.
Yan. Hi, Doc.
Hi.
Oo.
Yeah.
Oo. Share ko lang kasi, aside from, kasi you stop that, yung parang medyo yung sickness at the state that you're sick already. Kasi there, from our practice, we also see na parang there is also dignity and enjoyment while you are sick, while you have this sickness. Medyo, maski even the serious.
Yeah.
Kasi you don't, oo. Kasi, of course, the first thing, if you're sick, diba, the first thing you do is depression. You sink into depression.
Okay.
So, parang kailangan, parang you find activities. Kami, for our patients, we find activities for our patients. Parang to pull them out of depression. So, you go back na, what makes this person, what kept them interested before? Ano yung mga hobbies nila before? What did they enjoy most before? It could be as simple as drawing, singing, diba? Yung mga ganon. So, yun din yung din. Yun yung isa kong mga learnings na aside from, of course, the intentional living plan, which actually, in my mind, it's there. Kasi we also promote health and wellness sa patient namin. So, and we also do a lot of education on the 5 determinants of health. So basically, that's, as you mentioned, exercise, stress, diet, relationships. Very important kasing relationships din eh. The relationships you have with the people around you. Parang you make peace with them also. And then, yung intention mo talaga is to help them rather than, parang are you there? Merong sinasabi yung ano namin, medical director, which I really liked was, are you there, when it comes to relationships, are you there to help or are you there to hate? Diba? Parang ganon. So parang dapat ang mindset natin is always, before we speak, ang ano natin, mindset natin dapat is to help rather than to hate. Lalo na, sometimes there's we are tempted, lalo pag mainis tayo, di ba, inis na inis tayo. Parang we say the first thing in our mind, but then that's very stressful, not only for the other person, but to you as well. Kasi tumataas yung mga blood pressure mo and everything, di ba? Tapos, even, I'm sure you know, the relationship between stress and illness.
Yeah.
Di
Yeah.
ba?
Okay.
So, parang ito yung mga things na parang, in my mind, it's there. Maybe I haven't written it down yet. And then I could relate to a lot of the things that you enumerate.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing. No, Emily is working with patients. No, okay, and
Hindi
then
ako doktor.
yeah, the doctor. What do you call yourself?
Health, sabi ko nga health and wellness advocate. Kaya na lang.
Okay, but all of us will be health and wellness advocate na rin, di ba? Anyway,
No, we run home healthcare company. We run a home healthcare.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I would suppose you would agree with me, yung nagagawa mo ngayon is parang contingency patch up muna, di ba? Okay, para to get them from depression. But if they have from the very start, if they have all this plan already, medyo smooth sailing na if it comes from them, di ba? Kasi ikaw, you just come in to help them, di ba?
Well, actually, even yung mga walang sakit, we do a lot of health solutions. Yung nga yung sinabi ko yung 5 determinants of health. So, even right now, yun na nga, I'm very conscious about that. Kasi, yun nga, so I practice exercising, and then, of course, eating right, stress management, relationships, and ano ba yung diet.
Yeah, that's why I said when I throw the question, how many of you have intentional living plan at one? Is to some degree. I suppose meron, di ba? I suppose all of you have, no? But is it clear? Is it robust? Is it something that baka pumapalya, di ba? Hindi kayo, you don't stick to it, no? Okay, papalit-palit, no? So probably it's about time to set down, i-document ninyo direction, no? All throughout, no? Okay. So just it will not be perfect at the start, no? You just have to keep on refining it, no? Until you reach the end point na okay na ito sa akin, pwede na. Okay.
Pero one kasi siguro common among us is parang yung mentality. It also hit me na parang once you reach 60, parang I mean like you can retire from work and then parang you just take it easy. Pero you can still be productive. So parang say ko, ay madami po pala akong magagawa na productive aside from, yung the typical retirement life.
Okay.
Na, so sabi ko, I can still like, for example, I can still attend yung mga sessions like this.
Yeah.
And for you to grow personally, para you never stop learning dapat.
Yeah.
Actually, which also helps for Alzheimer's.
Okay. Pero mas maganda sana kung from before retirement pa, no? Maaga-aga, nakaplano na yan, di ba?
Yeah, sure. Oo nga, totoo yun. Sabi ko, meron pa pala. There's a lot of, it doesn't mean that once you hit 60, ano ka na lang, pa easy-easy, ganun. There's still a lot of things you can do pa pala.
Yeah. Kaya nga, naka-spell out sa ano mo. As long as naka-spell out dun sa intentional living plan mo, your philosophy, your outlook, your directions, ganon. Na? Okay. So yung sa akin naman, actually, what keeps me going is actually doing service. Tinatawag ko love. I don't like to use religious terms muna. I'm trying to avoid it because all of us have different religion. No? So it's Love Your Neighbor project. Okay. Love Your Neighbor project. Parang ito, Pep Talk is my social responsibility, extending help to other people, no? Doing work for anti-COVID for free, etc. So I call it Love Your Neighbor project. No? Okay. So that keeps me going. Di ba? Kasi kung walang ganung project, you tend to be baka bored ka, depressed ka, no? Lalo na almost 1 year and 6 months na ako sa bahay, di ba? Okay. So any more comments? Thank you, Emily. Any more? Walang gusto mag-share? We still have 4 minutes. Who wants to share? Brave enough to share? Nana? Aida, would you like to share? Aida, maraming ano yan. Okay. So, Namar, last call. Madali naman gawin yun, di ba? Madali naman gawin yung intentional living plan. I just gave it the template, no? You just fill it up. Wala namang wrong answers dyan eh, no? Okay. Okay. I just guided you with the template. You just put in everything that you think should be placed there, no? And then what's more important is just keep on reviewing it. Will that make you contented? Do you have to change something? No? Okay. Especially on the topic on how to stay alive and not crippled, which we will take up in the next module. It will healthy lifestyle plan. We will take that topic in more detail. Okay. So if there are no more questions, no more. Never too late nga. Okay, never too late to start our intentional living plan. Yeah, never too late. No? Okay. Okay. I agree, Jeanette. No? Okay. Okay. So no more questions, reactions. We will call it a day. But before we leave, let me just have a summary of yung we will as you know, in the past, we always have the Olete test lang, no? Okay. And then you also notice that in the third module on a patient, when do you say that the patient is empowered, no? Okay. Aside from the knowledge, learning what to do, you must have several plans, no? Okay. You must have the advanced directive plan. You must have the intentional living plan, and then the healthy lifestyle plan. Ito lang tatlo yung yung assignment, yung homework, tinatawag na project, no? Okay. The Olete is quite easy, tama? Okay, it's more of mastery of learning lang, ha? Okay. So yan lang nire-request ko sa inyo, if you can come out with the advanced directive. Now, again, the advanced directive is not that difficult naman. It's just a draft, no? Okay, you just keep on changing it, no, as you go along. And then this one is also a little tedious lang, mag-iisip kasi kayo because talagang ito yung buhay nyo, no? If you want to be serious about it, you really have to think what you're gonna do with your life, no? Medyo mahirap ng konti, no? Okay. And then the last one, next week will be another homework na may work, may parang practicum, no? Is to come out with a healthy lifestyle plan, okay? So I'll show you a template also, okay? I suppose you noticed that what I'm teaching you are based on my personal experience. Okay, so I don't just get it from the books, but I teach what I've done before. Okay, so it's proven. Okay, so hindi lang theoretical things. Okay, but something that has been achieved already, something that has been done. Okay, so. How many are willing to complete the homework? At the moment, I only have 5, but I'm willing to wait. I only have 6 already as of this morning, 6 advanced directive. Okay, so I'm waiting for the others, but I can wait. Then here comes another assignment, which is intentional living plan. Okay. And then next week is another assignment, which is a healthy lifestyle plan. Yung last 2, wala nang project yung last 2. Okay? Okay? So with that, we call it the we end our pep talk today at 3:01. Okay, so anybody who wants to leave now, okay lang. Okay, but those who want to stay can stay on and have some chat with me or ask more questions. You may be shy to ask questions kanina. Okay, you can ask questions kung konti na yung tao rito. Na? Okay? Okay. Goodbye. Thank you. And goodbye.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you po.